Hey, strong people, Beck here from StartingStrongman.com. Wild 2021 World's Strongest Man so far. The groups are over. You can hear all that nonsense I talked and all the predictions I probably got wrong in my previous videos. Today, I'm going to be doing my predictions for the finals. We know the 10 athletes competing, and we know the events roughly. So, what do I think will happen? First off, we have Maxime Boudreau, Adam Bishop, JF Caron, Ithor Melstead, Konstantin Janashia, Trey Mitchell, Brian Shaw, Luke Stoltman, Tom Stoltman, and Bobby Thompson, all in the finals. And they will be doing a Giants medley, which is supposedly like a 500 kilogram yoke, which is 1,100 pounds into 370 frame, which is 825 pounds. It would be odd if they used the exact same frame as they did in the qualifiers, but who knows? Then the Titans Turntable, the event most similar to this would have been the train push, the train pull that got put into a push. So the people that did that probably got a little bit of experience. They'll be going in a circle, so it'll be slightly different. Basically, they change the tracks the trains are on and push them around. Not sure how that one is going to be contested. As far as I don't know how it's going to be contested. As far as, is it for a set distance, a set time, max distance? I don't know. I'm going to guess it's just whoever does 180 degrees within a certain time limit they'll give them, which might end up making it max distance if no one completes that. We saw some equipment mishaps on the train pole. Hopefully everything is well tested on the Titans turntable. Keg Toss, I believe it's for max weight, or is it max height? One of those. Log lift for max, so 2 max events. Then a deadlift, the knack deadlift, which I believe is for reps. Gonna guess it's somewhat standard height, if slightly out of deficit, which is common in World's Strongest Man. When they do the globes, it's actually slightly lower than a standard height deadlift. And then the Atlas Stones, which will be a series. So, how do I think this is going to play out? It's a really tough one to call. We're missing Novikov, the returning champion. Brian Shaw looks as good as he has since 2016. Last time he won the final, which I believe is 5 years ago, and then he won his first title 10 years before, I think. So that, so that would be, if he wins one now, 10 years in, I think he'd be the oldest person. He'd tie Marius for most World's Strongest Man wins. And he'd, round out a nice decade of wins at World's Strongest Man. 5 and 10 years? That sounds pretty good. Karan looked good. We have some surprises as far as, Melstead making the finals. Trey Mitchell got in again. Luke and Tom look absolutely incredible, especially Luke as far as improvements. Bobby Thompson looks like a killer. It's, man, Janashia, is he back? Did he have an easy group? It's hard to say. Some of these results from the qualifiers, it's hard to know if they did just enough to win in the events because, we don't see very much footage, or that was all they had. Who knows? So you got to take how it happened with a grain of salt. So in the Giants medley, I think that Adam Bishop will win this event. I also think Bobby Thompson will do well, maybe a little slower on yoke. The hard part is a lot of these guys have a good grip, but aren't very good at yoke, like Maxime. Maxime's historically struggled with yoke, but is very fast with a frame. So probably going to, if he hasn't improved, get buried on the 500 kilogram yoke. Where if they're 2 separate events, he'd fare much better. Janashia should do good here. Trey Mitchell, very fast at yoke, not great grip. Brian Shaw, pretty good at both, just a little slow, but they're heavy. They're heavy enough. I expect people that did well in the frame and that we know are pretty good at yoke in the past. I think Tom Stoltman showed a lot of improvement on the frame and will do well in this event. I'm picking Adam Bishop to win it. Janasia should be up there if he's in form. He didn't finish the frame in the qualifiers, but it's hard to know if he was hurt or not. I think Brian Shaw will either get third here or won't be fast enough and get sixth. I think he's good at both, where most people are good at one or the other, where he could get top three. But also looking at some prior results, he didn't in the medley last year where it was a yoke into the anvil. He just was too conservative and kind of just lost too many points, and I believe placed seventh. So something like that could happen. The key for Brian Shaw to win is he can't be strategic this time. He just has to go for it. He's strong enough to win. He just has to go for it. But I think Adam Bishop wins that. JF will be up there. Janasia, Tom. I think Bobby, I'd have to go back and look at Bobby's yoke, but he did pretty good with the frame. I think those would be my top five. Maxime, if he's improved his yoke, or if it's light enough, he'll be up there because he will fly and make up points with the frame. Competitors that would have killed this event include Novikov and Kevin Ferris. I'm thinking I see Adam Bishop winning this. The Titans Turntable is another hard event to call. We haven't seen events like this contested that much recently. The best historic events we have were the train push that only, two of the groups did in the qualifiers. And there was that they weren't even supposed to do that, and the Wheel of Pain in 2019 at the Arnold. Brian Shaw struggled with the Wheel of Pain, getting, I believe, 8th out of 9th, but almost no one that placed above him in that event is competing in this final, so it's hard to judge. He also, his whole leg was all taped up, so you would think it's an event he should be able to be good at. He's good at truck poles. He has a ton of body weight. One of the bigger people here, other than Bobby Thompson, reported is to be weighing at 555 pounds. Might have been a typo, maybe not. But maybe the endurance isn't there. Maybe the hamstring injury comes back. I don't know. This is why we have fun and speculate. Going off of how people did in the train push in the qualifiers, I think Trey Mitchell wins the event. I think Ithor also does very well. I think Luke Stoltman could do well. On a vehicle push, the Wheel of Pain, something like that, you want someone who's big and has a really big butt. Can drive their ass right through the train. I think Luke Stoltman qualifies there. It'd be a good event for Kielszkowski, as we've seen in the Wheel of Pain, and Martins. Martins has a little bit of a booty in his barbell apparel pants, but they're not competing. So I'm going to go with Trey's going to bring the beef to this event, and I think Janasia could be there. I think Bobby Thompson could do well here, but it's a very hard event to tell. Then on to the Keg Toss. This is Brian Shaw all day. It'd be hard to see anyone beating Brian in a max Keg Toss. I don't care if it's height or weight, especially weight. It'd be interesting if he sets another world record. I think, he wins that. I think Maxime maybe gets second. He's very good at it. I think he has the Canadian record. I think people like Trey struggle here. I don't know how Luke's throwing is. JF Caron's done okay at it. I think Tom Stoltman will be in the top 3, but I think the top 3 in that event will be Brian Shaw, Maxime, and Tom Stoltman. Going into the max log, there's some good log pressers in this group. I think the top 2 are Tom Stoltman and Bobby Thompson. What I see happening here is I see there being big log jams. And it's going to be huge points for whoever gets that one that one more attempt up. So if they go, everyone gets 190, like there's 3 or 4 guys that get 190 and like 2 guys get 200, or 3 guys get 200 kilos and 1 guy gets 210. Whoever got that 210 is going to pick up big points because everyone else splits those points. We saw this at the Shaw Classic. A lot of these same people were competing at it, and I think Luke Stoltman won that with 200 kilos, and then there was a bunch of ties at 200, including Brian Shaw. I think that down call he got at the Shaw Classic was a little more on the... It wasn't the cleanest lift I've ever seen. I think JF just missed it, but he's good for it sometimes. Maxime's right around there. He could press 200 on a good day. Melstad's pretty decent. Trey Mitchell, but I think Luke Stoltman wins it. Tom's log has seemed to improved a lot. It's a big event for Karan. Shaw needs to make sure that he doesn't have a close call, that someone like Magnus is going to give him not give him leniency on. Hopefully he's improved it. You also have to remember this is going to be day 2, I believe, of Worlds, when they've already been competing in the groups for a week. They'll be outside, so the conditions are not as good as they were at the Shaw Classic. So I would not be surprised if we saw lower performances. The other way to look at it is, though, that it is Worlds and people are a little more pumped up, and they're going to give it all. But yeah, I think Bobby Thompson and Luke are going to put on a show here. I think Trey's improving on it a lot, and Boudreaux and Shaw and Tom. But I think it's going to be big points for Luke and Bobby Thompson. Going into the deadlift, I think the top guys here are Bobby Thompson and Adam Bishop. I think they'll do really well here. Brian will be up there as well. Trey's a good puller, and Janashia, but I'm going to say Bobby takes the deadlift. Might be a tough one. I think Brian gets 3rd, 4th. But it really, after it kind of depends on, look at everything they've done already. It's going to be crazy. This is an important event for Tom Stoltman. JF Karan will be up there as well. He had squat in his group, so yeah, I think JF will be in the top 3 in that. But Bobby won it at World's Ultimate Strongman. He had 9 reps in his group which tied the most, including Adam Bishop. But Shaw and Karan had squat and not deadlift, so we don't know how they do then into the stones. I think Tom Stoltman wins the stones. Very bold prediction. I think Brian Shaw is 2nd. And, right in the top 3, I think it could be Trey, Luke, and maybe even Karan. Maxime's good at stones as well. Luke looked really improved based on his stone off. I think he could be in the top 5 in stones. Oh, and who do I think's going to win? This is such the deadlift's going to be a big event for Luke Stoltman. There's a lot of killers in the deadlift here. Who do I think's going to win? I said earlier I didn't think Brian Shaw had a chance. And every year it's like he looks like he's going to do it. And for the past, he just ends up a step behind. It's like, I feel like he could have, but he didn't. So, going through this and listing off event by event, I want to say Brian Shaw, but I feel like I shouldn't, because I end up doing this for the past, 4 years, and, pretty much since Eddie Hall retired, or, and Hafthor retired and, was hurt. I've said this, and then it doesn't seem to happen. It could be this year. It seems like destiny's taking place. It's in California. It's going to be in California for the next 2 or 3 years, I believe. It's in the United States. The 5-time champion best known person in the sport, maybe in all of fitness industry right now. It would definitely be sell well. The events look great for him. We have a heavy medley back. We have a keg toss for Max. We have a deadlift, an event that should play well to body weight. We have Atlas stones. How could he not win? But I think just some of these younger guys are they're going to give it their all. And they might fall on their sword giving it their all, but one of them won't. And I think crazy things could happen. I think we could get an All-American podium. I think it could be Brian, Trey, and Bobby. I think it's I think it's possible. That might be crazy, but I think it is. I'm going to go that, and this could just totally be wrong, but I'm going to say it's Luke, Tom, then Bobby Thompson, Shaw, Karan, my top 5. Might be the worst prediction you saw on all of YouTube. I'm going off of feel. Like, I'm sure if you took everything I said and added it up, those don't match up. I just kind of like to go by feel on these things and just how I do it. And hey, it's all for fun. Tell me how wrong you think I am in the comments below, and tell me what you think is going to happen. And if you have any questions as far as strongman goes, put them in the comments below, and I'll make sure to cover them in a future video. Thanks for watching.